song. I feel the breeze, but in my heart I hear the calling of my old home, Tennessee.
Welcome back to Amazing Life. So this episode is going to be a little bit different because it's really more of a shakedown run for me. As you may know, or may not, Holly and I are getting ready to head out on the Wyoming BDR. So we're going to be leaving next couple weeks. And so there were a couple of things that I have been wanting to get done. If you watched my last episode, I'll tag it up here. When I went with Matt from Ozark Overland, discovered that Swaybar disconnects might be a good idea. Brad Callender, who's a fan of the channel, apparently watched that video, had pity on me, and decided to send me a set of JKS Swaybar disconnects that he was not using. So I just got those installed. So I decided I'd come out, and where I am right now is at the Natchez Trace State Park. It's not the best park for wheeling. Like, it's not really a wheeling park. It doesn't really have a ton of difficult off-road stuff. I'm hoping I can find something to where I can, kind of flex it and get a feel for it. In addition to that, I'll also have another piece of gear that is brand new that I received from Hatchet Overland Camper, the maker of my top, and it is an awning that slides into a rail, so you'll get to see that too. So anyway, it's a short little trip. I'm planning to camp just straight on the lake, so it should look nice there. So anyway, I'm glad you're with me, and let's get going. All right. None of these little roads probably go anywhere. They're all probably just dead ends. Like I said, I haven't done a whole lot of wheeling back here, so I'm not really sure what I'm getting into. But not a whole lot back here, I don't think. But sometimes it's kind of fun just to play around, see what you move into. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to go nowhere. Oh well. It was fun to try. Definitely tight getting out of here. That's a bummer. I'm hoping that's not going to be indicative of what's coming up ahead of us, because I had some high hope of what was up ahead. So that trail is closed, and on the satellite, that's some of the better riding. So it looks like they have closed off. They have closed off all these trails. That really sucks. So that used to be a pretty good little playground that we used to ride motorcycles on. And it looks like, yeah. Unfortunately, it looks like they have closed all of them. So that kind of sucks. I think that may wipe out our opportunity to do some of the flex testing that I was really hoping for, because it literally looks like every side trail that has any sort of difficulty looks like it's been closed. That's very unfortunate. So, with that said, it may end up being that, yeah, that was a good trail. That was a good trail through there too. I closed that one too. So, it looks like I may be hanging out at the lake and testing out the awning a lot more than I was expecting, because I was really wanting to get these Swaybar disconnects kind of tested and used to, you know, how hard is it to put them back on and stuff like that. I mean, taking them off in the parking lot's one thing, doing it, you know, on a trail can be quite different. And I also, I don't know where it is right now, but I bought a mini can of WD-40. I think that's kind of required in every Jeep anyway. And I have that just in case it's kind of hard to slide those bushings back onto the sleeve. So I'll go ahead and keep going through here and test, check out some of these other roads, but I have a feeling if those are closed off, that more than likely the rest of them have probably been abused by side-by-sides and you name it, and they have probably elected to shut them all down. So, yep, even that one's closed. Wow, that really stinks. They closed them all down. All right, well, Natchez Trace, I knew it was pretty weak on wheeling, but now it's pretty well non-existent.
I wanna wander out of the valley where the river takes us far away from home. Time to ponder in the fields around me where there's nothing but the breeze and the great unknown. Leave your worries and your suitcase. All you don't need, nothing but you. So don't throw your hopes, start on wishing well. It's your heart's desire, carry you. Come and sail with me to the open ocean, where you don't have to dream because there's you.
This awning is still technically a prototype, as they're still making changes to make it better before their official release. They sent it to me to test it in different environments than they have out west, namely lots of rain.
Nothing around us, just flames in the fire. And through the night they burn like me for you. Covered in wonder, sweet in the silence. Oh, we'll keep running, we'll keep running. Leave your worries and your suitcase. All you don't need, nothing but you.
Well, so here's the new awning by Hatchet Overland. I hope you're able to see. This is the first time I've ever put it up. Like literally, came to me in a bag. This is the first time I've pulled it out. It is extremely easy to slide into the rail. So if there's any question of it being like hanging and being difficult or whatever, piece of cake. The beauty too is the rail stays clean because it's always, when you're riding, it's always under the canopy, so it's not going to get dirty. So it stays clean all the time, which is nice. One of the one of the things I didn't think about is I have 2 stakes with me because I typically use the force protector to go out the back, and that gives me an awning off the rear where I typically do my cooking. Well, so I have 2 stakes, and not thinking about that, this didn't have any stakes with it, and so I am using 2 wrenches over there, and then 2 typical stakes that I typically use with the force protector to keep these poles up. But what that means is I don't have, I have more wrenches, so I guess I could use wrenches. So it is supposed to rain. I'm kind of hoping that it might, just so I can kind of get this a real go. But it's really dark over that direction. Honestly, I thought it was going to rain like 2 seconds ago, and then now it's looking like it's kind of changing directions a little bit. So I hope the wind stays because right now there are no mosquitoes. I am at Natchez Trace State Park in basically West Tennessee. And this campground has some really cool memories because this is where, or not this campground, but this park, we took the Cub Scouts back when I was a Scoutmaster. My son was in Scouts, and we took the Scouts over to camp way back in the day. And so good memories at this park. I am certainly disappointed that they have now closed all of the more difficult trails. I've got a nice dinner planned for tonight. I've got it's going to be a surf and turf. I've got a small T-bone along with, I've got some garlic shrimp that I'm going to fix up. I'm going to sit here and relax for just a little bit, enjoy the water. It looks like I'm not going to have to rush and cook food immediately due to rain, so that's cool. And then I'll get on dinner. So anyway, enjoy. Well, I guess it's about time to get dinner going. I don't think I've shown this on a previous video yet because this is like the first camping trip that I've had since I left, or since I came back from Arkansas. You may know the last table that I had was a front runner table. It was an okay table, I thought, but it wasn't great. Okay, I have now upgraded to the Goose Gear table. I have to say it's pretty outstanding. So one of the features is it is single hand release, so you can click here and there, pull it down, which is kind of nice. This is a stainless steel, it's a kitchen grade stainless steel, so you can cut on it if you need to, do prep work on it if you want to. And then of course slide out and you've got the custom fit design bamboo table, which is really nice. The other thing I like about it, if you recall on the front runner table, it actually just mounts through those holes, so it leaves your existing plastic panel, which is kind of bad because like when you're cooking heat, that heat is getting on all the plastic and stuff. Goose Gear chose to completely remove that whole panel, and then they have a full metal panel that replaces it, and so it looks a lot cleaner for one thing, but it is extremely rugged for two. And then also, if you notice, there are no wires, there's nothing in the middle, so this hinge system just locks into place, and it doesn't have anything that will trap you if you're moving plates around and stuff like that. So I'm really excited about this upgrade. I think for me, it's what needed to be back here versus the front runner. The front runner is a great table. I used it for a long time and it worked out well, but I like this one better. So anyway, got some shrimp that I'm going to fix up, and then I brought a steak from when we bought from the Mennonite. Now it is a T-bone, but it's a little bitty one, right? So you know, it's a small T-bone. but the meat quality is really, really good, so it's going to taste phenomenal. So I'm going to fix those up. And also going to have a nice salad from our garden. With a number of veggies from our garden. So that should actually be really, really good. So it's time to get started. Wow, that garlic sure smells good. This is gonna be fantastic. I love garlic. A little bit of pepper. Pretty well cook the shrimp at the same time. They're thawed, they shouldn't take long, and they're just going to be in that garlic herb butter. I always like to reduce the number of plates that I'm dirtying up, if at all possible. Left the butter out, and it got pretty soft. Honestly, I think I've got so much food, I think I'm going to skip the rice. I'm just doing the salad, steak, and shrimp. I think it's going to be more than enough. Okay, it is time to eat. This is looking fantastic. It's going to be a little complicated because I've got a plate and a bowl, but I don't know about you, but I think this looks amazing.
T-bone is small in size, but it's big on flavor. And honestly, you don't need any more than that anyway. So I was thinking last night, since I wasn't able to properly test the Swaybar disconnect bars at this location just because they closed all the roads, I thought, well, maybe I could go home a different way. And there's a place that I know that I've shot stuff there before. In fact, it was in my Action Tracks video where I kind of did some testing on the Action Tracks to test that stuff out. But there's some pretty good shelves there, and there's some pretty good off-camber stuff. So I thought maybe I'll swing by there on the way home and kind of test out my the Swaybar disconnect. You might notice I'm not having bacon eggs as I usually do. It's freaking hot out here, and so I'm going very light. These peaches we got from the Mennonites, and they are fabulous. I'm gonna slice one of these up, eat it with some yogurt, and call it a morning. Anyway, so I'm gonna get this breakfast done, and then we can go from there.
We're driving cars on a Mars tonight. We're blasting off to the stars tonight. We wanna go, go. We wanna go, go.
All right, well, that's Pin Oak Campground. If you're just getting into like car camping and you don't really have all of the gear required to sustain yourself, like in an overlanding situation, I got to tell you, this is a fantastic little campground in Tennessee to go to. It's clean, the facilities are nice, bathrooms are clean. You really should try it out. And they've even got the air-conditioned cabins that you can use, and those are, I haven't been in them, but those appear to be very nice. They have an air conditioner in there. So, I mean, the reality is most people don't just suddenly, you know, go into the woods and stay for a month. That's not typically what happens. It tends to be like something that just kind of, you grow into it, right? And so, staying in campgrounds like this are a great way to get yourself started. All right, so I'm gonna head on back toward home. I'm gonna stop in at kind of a trail that I go to test stuff out every now and then when I get something new on, so I can kind of do a shakedown on it. Through the magic of film, you're going to just, and we're there. So this is just it's a pretty cool little trail. It goes for a little ways. But what I'm going to do is I'm not going to actually disconnect yet. But there are some really good spots up here. I kind of want to get a feel for where it stands because it's pretty ruddy and muddy, or it can be. And so depending on how much rain, it can actually change quite a bit. So I'm gonna check it out and see what we're dealing with, and then we'll start doing some flex testing. What you can't see from this angle is this rut I'm straddling ultimately drops to the right, so I have to cut left at some point across the rut to make it down the way. Now, after watching the video, I realized how close my front tire was and that I could probably actually made it. I was already at about a 13-degree lean at the point where my rear tire left the ground, and without a clear way to know how much further I had to go, I felt it was just better to back up. Finally decided to just go ahead and disconnect the sway bars and keep on testing. Okay, I gotta tell you, that little trick alone was enough to convince me that the sway bar disconnects are critical. So I have tried that before without it, and I did make it, but I did not take that line, and my angle was like ridiculous, very scary. And while that was a little nerve-wracking as it was, and I was basically using my drone as a spotter, it was doable. It was far more doable. And as you could tell from the angle of the weight of the Jeep was not near as off kilter as it obviously would have been. It would have been a train wreck. So yeah, little pucker factor there, but that was solid. That felt really good. So all right, so a little bit about this obstacle going the opposite direction. I have tried this numerous times before the disconnects. I really feel like it would be easily doable if I had lockers. I am a little curious to see what could happen with just disconnects. So this is one I've done, I don't know, 2 or 3 times, and I was unable to do it. I think I finally got up it with the traction boards, but I was unable to do it without the traction boards. And so I'm a little curious to see if I can keep a more sure footing as I climb up with the disconnects on. So here we go. Wow, that was ridiculously easy. That's crazy. I didn't even spin. And by the way, I'm not aired down either. I've got highway pressures. That's amazing. I have to admit, I took the electronic Swaybar disconnect for granted when I had my Rubicon. Being able to at will just push a button to disconnect the Swaybar is a powerful feature. Now, while it's not difficult, it can be quite messy depending on the situation when you've got manual disconnects like this. However, I'd rather have them than not have them. All right, well guys, that was interesting. So the WD-40 by all means is like huge benefit if not required. The first one went on pretty easy, as you could tell. The second one I kind of struggled with. It does have to be very level, and so I did move the vehicle just a little bit to kind of level it up just a tad. But I mean, honestly, most of it was that rubber being so sticky, and so I can imagine if I've gone through water crossings and mud and whatever, that it could even be even worse. So the WD-40 did a lot of good to that. So anyway, guys, that's it for today. That is it for this video. I know this was a little different than the typical video. It wasn't exactly a crazy adventure off somewhere. It was more of testing stuff out for that final shakedown before we leave for the Wyoming BDR. So if you've not seen the Wyoming BDR, it's about 1,000 miles north to, well, we're taking it north to south. I think it's designed south to north, but you can take it either way. And it's about 1,000 miles of of off-road beautiful landscape. So I'm hoping to get a number of episodes of that. I would like to do one per section, so we'll see how that goes. But by all means, if you have not subscribed to my channel and you're curious about the Wyoming BDR, this would be a great reason to subscribe now and be notified, because more than likely I may have another video out before then, but we're leaving in less than 2 weeks and we'll be gone for over a month. So it's gonna be hard for me to get anything out until then. So until next time, as always, make life amazing.